Hey, what's up, and welcome to Movie Dumpster Season 5, Episode 1. Today we're talking about Scream, Blacula Scream from 1973, directed by Bob Keljan. I'm Joel Escola.
And I'm Sean O'Rourke.
Welcome to the Dumpster. Yeah, so welcome. Here we are. We're finally in the video format.
We're doing it, Peter.
We're doing it, Peter.
Yeah, we could touch each other.
Oh, look at that. I like this. Oh, look, you can't see it under the table a little bit
exactly.
there?
Getting a little mahogany already.
Oh, dude, I got some fucking teak for sure.
Yeah, right off the bat here.
Yeah. So we're here in the video dungeon coming at you.
Finally. I mean,
yeah.
If you've seen any of our live shows over the last year, maybe this looks a little familiar, but holy crap, we're coming at you on a main episode here.
Here it is. Everything's not exactly the way it's going to be. There's going to be changes. It's a process, going from the beginning and then on.
From the again, long-time listeners, if you know, the studio closet to the video dungeon is a big change that we are very excited about.
But we're so happy to have you guys here and taking the journey with us. And we're gonna try to do our best to keep it, for the audio listeners, so you're not missing out on the visual stuff. And if not, we'll explain it. But yeah, it's very strange to be here with the cameras on and stuff like that. Filming and we do the live shows, but this is just kind of
it's a new experience,
different.
And obviously we've been on other shows that are similar, in a similar format, but here we are.
Yeah.
Talking about some Scream, Blacula Scream.
Man.
Sequel to a film we did last year.
Yeah.
As kind of our look for Black History Month.
Mm-hmm.
Back at some blaxploitation films from the 70s, which was Coffy with Pam Grier, who we're going to get to.
Oh, yeah.
She appears in this film. Blacula, the first one, obviously. And what the heck was our third one? Petey,
Wheatstraw, baby.
Oh my God,
Rudy Ray Moore.
We got to get Rudy Ray Moore on the show again. We got a couple more of his films I would love to cover. Disco Godfather comes to mind for sure.
It's funny because this film ties all three of those together.
Yes,
kind of for this month.
Tangentially, I mean,
yeah.
Again, we're gonna get into it for the new listeners and the old listeners alike.
Yeah.
What the hell is the MDU?
That's right.
We read the comments. We have these interactions.
Yeah.
We understand that maybe as funny as we find these jokes and you guys at home find these jokes, maybe there's a little confusion. So
we kind of need to reintroduce you to the MDU, if you will.
Yes, the movie dumpster universe, and
basically, I was
gonna say that's part of our mission. That's part of season 5.
Well,
honestly,
yeah, big time because everybody's gonna be watching the video and they're gonna be like, "What the fuck are these guys talking about?" Yeah. And you're gonna be seeing all kinds of shit that'll pop up intermittently when we're talking about it. But basically, the movie dumpster universe, just to re-educate those or educate those that I've never heard the show, and now you're going to be watching the show, which is kind of strange to me. But it's the connected universe of all the movies that we've covered, basically, and they all have their offshoots and stories and branch timelines and all kinds of shit, and we're all at the mercy of one John Hurt, Dr. Joe Buchanan from Frankenstein Unbound. We've covered a shit ton of Frankenstein Unbound stuff over on Hack the Movies and for our own channel. So there's plenty of content to go back and check out. But yeah, we're going to start implementing them in the show notes or the video notes, whatever the fuck you want to call it. The down there's of what episodes are connected to which and all that kind of stuff.
Which is something we've probably talked on the show about in the past, and something that, I don't know, I just think it's fun to kind of show people, like, how do we get from point A to Z? Somewhere in there a bunch of other crap happened. It's like, how do we get there?
It's a wild fucking ride, I'll tell you that. That's for sure. So we covered, like Sean was saying, we covered Blacula last year and Coffy and Petey Wheatstraw. So this year we're kind of doing a bit of more of a mixed bag.
Yeah.
But we are doing Blacula. Scream, Blacula, Scream. And then for our watch along for Patreon, it's going to be Blackenstein. So if you're not a patron, go sign up for that.
head over to patreon.com/movie dumpster, and that's for $5 and above tiers.
Yeah, live watch-alongs with y'all. So you get to hang out with us, and we'll talk to you while we're watching it. Yeah.
So if you haven't seen them before, just like Joe said, we're watching the movie, we're chatting with you. Much like when this video comes out, there should be a premiere. We should be in there right now, chit-chatting with you.
That's right.
I don't know, prove us wrong. Tell us that we're not there. I don't know.
Oh, we'll be in the chat. Don't you fucking worry.
But yeah, we've done a bunch of them already for, again, any new listeners or anyone that's been on the fence. All last year we did them. So, if you sign up now, you get all the back content, and the same goes for anything else on Patreon. Commentary tracks. We have one coming out at the end of this month, actually.
Oh, yeah.
With a good friend of the show, Tony from Hack the Movies, on Texas Chainsaw 3. Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3.
Don't fuck it up. Right?
Yeah. Mr. Lobo, our friend Mr. Lobo is going to come out. He does. If you heard that, no, I almost called it Slimeball-O-Rama.
Slimeball Bowl-O-Rama.
The sorority babes in the Slimeball Bowl-O-Rama. If you heard that episode, we were trying to get away with just calling it sorority babes. He wasn't letting us have it. Anyway,
we had to say the whole title. Do not abbreviate it to TCM. It's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But yeah. So we're gonna be doing some Texas Chainsaw stuff this month.
Yes.
For the new movie coming out, and of course, if you haven't caught it already, make sure you hop over to Hack the Movies and check out the episode where Sean and I are on the worst Texas Chainsaw Massacre sequel. It's definitely not Next Generation, which we're going to be talking about.
Yes,
but
I don't want to spoil it if you haven't seen
spoil
it.
Just go over there, give it a like, give it a watch, and yeah.
And I guess the last Patreon thing I want to just mention before we get into the blood and potatoes, the blood potatoes. Is that a thing
of this?
How about say meat and potatoes, meat and blood?
How about the fangs?
Fangs and blood.
We're gonna bite into it, man.
We're gonna bite into it.
Yeah.
We do have those minisodes.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
We have an amazing minisode, honestly, coming at some point this month.
Oh yeah, you better watch out. What's your favorite scary movie?
You hear that phone ringing? Hello.
Scream 5 has already dropped.
Yeah.
Last month, but fuck it, because we're doing it anyway.
Why not?
Yeah.
So look forward to that. Follow the socials. I'm sure we'll be posting all of them.
Patreon exclusive, by the way.
But anyway.
And you'll get that on that $2 tier. Did you mention that? Oh, I'm sorry. Well, there you go.
Thank you for picking up what I'm putting down.
Hey, man, that's what we're here for.
You're picking up those meat and potatoes I'm talking about. Let's just drag this through the dirt totally. And you're carrying the ball.
Yeah,
pigskin.
Yeah, picking it up, dude, and taking it out. So yeah, we covered Blacula last year, like we said 4 times already. But specifically, we're gonna kind of glaze over William Marshall and Pam Grier because they're both in this film.
Yeah, if you want to hear kind of our main thoughts on that, go back to those episodes from last season.
Yeah, season, what do we got? Season 4, episode 2 and 3.
Yes.
We did Coffee and Blacula, and we do a deep dive into Pam's life and career and William Marshall's life and career. And of course, then you'll get to listen to the reviews of Coffee and the first Blacula.
Great movies, by the way.
Yeah, so if you
Especially Coffee.
If you want to fucking do that and jump back over here, that's fine. Finish the premiere and then go do that, whatever you want to do. So we're kind of, the history lessons on the other episodes, so go check them out. So this movie is directed by Bob Keljan.
I wasn't familiar with the name.
He did Count Yorga and The Return of Count Yorga, which is another vampire movie from the 70s, and I believe it predates. It definitely predates this movie. I think the first Count Yorga predates Blacula. I'm almost positive. Okay. But he's doing a lot of fucking vampire shit like in the 70s, right? So he's doing Count Yorga, Return of Count Yorga, or Count Yorga Returns. I forget which. What the fuck is it? The Return of Count Yorga, excuse me. And then he does Blacula in 73. But he also does this other movie called Act of Vengeance or Rape Squad in 1974, which is like prime like revenge flick again. Which would probably be a good one for next month, but I think we already have that one tackled.
We have one in pocket.
Yeah.
No announcements yet, but
no announcements.
I was looking at that trailer again, Joe, and I have some thoughts already. I'm ready to watch.
It's gonna be insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a great like revenge movie. Okay. Right. So these badass chicks get together that have been like sexually assaulted, and they get together and they fucking start killing rapists around around the city and looking
Sign
for
me up.
Yeah, dude, it's real good.
Mm-hmm.
So AIP puts this out, American International Pictures, not Action International Pictures. That's some other shit, because they put out a lot of the like classic Vincent Price movies and stuff like that.
Okay.
So that's pretty much it. I don't have too much for this, especially for the fact that like you can get all that stuff, all that history of William Marshall and Pam on the other episodes that we just talked about. But yeah, so you want to fucking plot crunch this? Here we go. The first video plot crunch of Movie Dumpster.
A lot of pressure.
It is. Dude, I'm like kind of freaking out. There's 3 cameras on us, and you know what I mean?
Well, you know what? We got our water with our Mahoning driving cups.
To the Mahoning.
To the Mahoning.
I'm sure we're going to be back there this summer, baby. That's for damn sure.
Okay, so much like every other damn Dracula movie and Castlevania game, pretty much, some moron gets miffed and resurrects. Not Dracula, it's Blacula.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Yeah.
And for some reason, they think they can control, Blacula, but no, goes the other way. And essentially, it's Blacula who's now trying to kind of fight his own urges. Still killing people, by the way. But in the process, going to Pam Grier, who plays this like voodoo priestess, and is trying to basically have the demon or the devil, however you want to word it, removed from him. But he's still Blacula, and he's still a vampire, and there's a lot of casualties along the way. And then eventually you have your kind of almost amalgamation of like a John Harker and Van Helsing character of this Justin Carter, who kind of ends up going against him with the police at the end of the film.
Yeah, it's definitely a terrible night for a curse.
Oh, yeah, that wine glass is hitting the ground.
Oh, big time. So we open up on this voodoo ceremony.
Yes.
Well, what I thought was voodoo ceremony. I was waiting for fucking Petey Wheatstraw to pop up out of here and start fucking like just jiving at people like, oh, whatever
like
his fucking monologue is in that first movie is so good.
I'm not here to brag nor here to boast. I can sit on a tombstone and produce baby ghosts.
But the Mama Loa has just died.
Yes, which I didn't look this up, but the way I understand it is basically like your head of your voodoo cult or priestess almost?
Yeah, the Loa is the head of the voodoo organization or whatever. It doesn't have to necessarily be a cult. In this movie it is, but they're like the high voodoo priest or priestess.
So let's take it all back for 1 second.
Yeah.
Season 1.
Yeah.
Venom.
Oh my God.
Not to be confused with the Tom Hardy one.
Dude, okay, so this is 1970. You think fucking Pam Grier cursed those fucking voodoo snakes? You think she's fucking not Megan Fox, Megan, whatever the fuck her name is.
I forget. But anyway, that movie was...
She's her grandmother.
Yeah, the voodoo snakes that turned the guy into this like revenant that's killing a bunch of teenagers at the burger joint.
That movie could have been good, but it's just not.
I guess my point is, was she a Mama Loa?
Oh, she was a Loa for sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
no, 100%.
She also gets carted off in that movie. What's with these prime people that should be helping everybody out getting taken down the
They're
first
fucking
minute?
dead. They're old.
I know.
You know what I mean? They got to pass the torch.
But I love in this how she passes away, like you're saying, and Pam Grier is very clearly, with the way this is being shot, the closest person to her. She's holding her hand while she's passing away on the couch.
Sure.
And then her son, Willis, he comes in, he's like this Spitfire kind of character who's just immediately like, all right, it was my mom, I'm in charge. Everyone else is like, no.
No. And like Pam Grier, her name's Lisa Fortier.
Yes.
And she was adopted by the Mama Loa because she had this like aura or whatever about her. This she was very in tune with like the voodoo magic, man. You know,
she's got more voodoo magic power than anybody else in the last 10 years, Joe.
I mean, it's possible.
Fucking voodoo magic, man.
So anyway, she was supposed to be the Loa.
Yeah.
He was passing it to her and not to her son Willis, who looks like fucking Prince, by the way. Like, there's that old album cover of Prince with like the fucking that big hair and the mustache and
you know
shit.
who he actually is? The one credit that Wikipedia gives him besides this, specifically, and there's another actor from this film in this, blink and you miss it kind of thing.
Yeah.
He's in Poltergeist. He plays Ray. He's like one of the guys that comes in as part of the Ghost Hunters.
Yeah. Yes. He's
10 years removed, obviously.
He's in a bunch of stuff though. I forgot. I want everybody and their fucking mothers in CSI, but like, sure. I think it might be one of those. So Willis is pissed he's not the Loa, and
he's throwing a hissy fit, man. He's like ready to beat the crap out of somebody.
Oh, big time. And he's like calling fucking Pam Grier a bitch and shit. And she's like, you better watch your fucking back. And then Justin is just like hanging out in the corner, and he comes over and he fucking like picks him up and like slams him against the wall. It's like, you ever fucking say anything to her or anybody else in here again, I'm gonna bust your fucking ass. And so, and then he just walks away like a chump motherfucker.
Well, he leaves, and then like I kind of said in the plot crunch, he kind of bumps into this random old man who's a former cultist or something, or shaman.
He looks like a black Torgo from Manos, The Hands of Fate.
Yeah, he's almost like a Renfield that doesn't do anything the rest of the film.
Dude, he's almost a master, you know? He goes there, and somehow he's procured Blacula's skeleton from the first movie.
Right, because
do you remember what happened in the first one?
Right, at the end of the first movie, because it kind of plays off a lot of the Dracula tropes. His wife dies, or the reincarnation of his wife. Yeah. Nina, not Mina.
Nina.
Or Tina. It was Nina or
Tina.
It was one of those two. But she dies, so he walks out into the sunset to kill himself because life has no meaning.
Well, yeah, he goes to the fucking top of the building and lets himself burn.
And if I remember correctly, the last shot is literally like his face melting, and you see his skeleton like in the sunlight.
You see his skeleton all burnt up and stuff, but I could have swore like everything was burnt away completely. But anyway, case in point is this guy somehow came across him, and like this guy was scorned too from like another voodoo cult or the same one, and they like kicked him out, and he's like, I've been saving these bones I fucking found or something. And he's like digging it up.
Yeah.
Out of the fucking
like a hole in the floor.
Yeah. It's like the Evil Dead root cellar. Like he's fucking digging it up, and he's like, okay, here you go. Here's your bag of fucking bones, your Cheetos bag of bones.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I wish.
And your and he gives him this piece of paper like with the incantation or whatever on it.
And he hands him some money, and he goes on his merry way. And
no, it's not even money. It's it's how to use the bones, how to bring the bones, how to bring Blacula back.
Him, that's all I'm saying.
No, I don't think so. Because he's like, well, I was scorned, so now you're scorned. So here's the fucking here's your revenge. But like, there's nothing. Well, we'll get to it. Keep going.
Yeah. Well, because then he resurrects. You know, he does his ritual. He kills like a chicken or a dove of some kind.
It looks like a fucking bird of paradise, actually. But I think it might be like I'm already hitting the fucking microphone. Yeah. It might be like a cockatoo or some shit. Anyway,
he kills it as part of the ritual, and then he resurrects Blacula, but he doesn't realize it worked.
Yeah, it like lights on fire, and it's pretty cool because it sounds like it's pretty accurate, like in terms of like the chants and stuff. Like
it's all in French.
I don't even know what the fuck you'd call that.
I don't know if it's like a Haitian thing.
I was gonna say it's definitely Haitian French, but I don't even know if I'm talking out of my ass or if that's even a thing. Yeah, because
they are in Cali for sure.
Yeah, but yeah.
But yeah, so this guy has a habit of doing this in this film, Willis. This guy needs to learn to not face his back to like doorways. Like he gets snuck up on like 2 or 3 times in this film.
His fucking bones lit on fire, and Blacula comes back, and he's like chilling, having a fucking beer with like.
Of course,
is he in Sal's fucking house, dude? Because there's plastic sheeting all over the furniture and stuff. God. Night of the Demons, folks.
Yeah. So yeah, Blacula walks right up to him. Gets okay, and if you haven't seen the first one, his face kind of transforms almost like a lot of other vampire movies like your Lost Boys and your Hammer Draculas.
It's
not
very
to that extent.
It's super subtle.
Yeah.
It's more in tune with like a Hammer transformation.
Right, where he has a kind of like hair grows in this part of his face.
He's got
his brow gets
it looks like he's wearing a mask almost, like he's got it here and then he's got the teeth. But what's also unique to him is that he has bottom fangs too.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird.
Werewolf-esque.
Yeah, in this one. I don't remember bottom fangs in the first one.
Yeah, I don't remember. I didn't rewatch it, so I don't recall.
But he bites Willis. Like, I didn't expect him to do that. I expected him to control him for at least a little bit. But, like, what was on that piece of paper? Like, the chant to bring him back, then what the fuck do you do?
You forgot to turn it over and read the other part of the incantation. Make sure you read this if you want to take control of him. Oh, fuck.
Clatu Verada Nicto. No, he... Specifically, that's why probably Mama Loa didn't choose him, because he's a bad fucking voodoo.
Oh, yeah.
He's bad at it.
The thing that cracks me up, though, you go from this guy getting bit, you get the awesome intro with kind of the funk soundtrack.
Awesome? I don't know about awesome. It's not
as good as the first movie's opening, but I thought it was kind of cool.
Nothing's gonna top that first one, dude, because the animation's just way better and the music's better, I think, in the first one. You get a cool soundtrack here. Who's it by? Bill Marks is doing the score here, but it sounds more like an Italian crime film.
See that, yeah.
Rather than like a funky kind of like, black horror movie soundtrack.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
I mean, everything pretty much has that.
It's the 70s.
Yeah, right. Everything has kind of a funk feel, but I mean like hard funk. Like that first fucking soundtrack and that first theme song in that first movie is awesome. And this feels kind of like not as good, and the animation sucks, and it like we have this fucking like shot of Blacula's face, and it's like a cutout almost, and
they do this a couple times by the way,
and they just keep going back to it, and I'm like, in the first one you had that drop of blood that like turns into a fucking bat and like flies all over the place throughout the title and shit,
and that's something like I don't know if I should say this now or hold this for later. Maybe I'll expand on it later, but. If you look at the years these came out, it was, back to friggin' back, man.
Yeah, 72. 72 was the first one.
Yeah, so they rushed this out the door, clearly. And you could kind of see where they cut a lot of corners with the effects. I mean, again, it's still an independent film that they're probably putting this together on the cheap. But there's just things, it doesn't take me out of the film too much, but like some of the stuff with the transformations later in the film aren't great either. And the music's kind of a little all over the place. Like, some of it I like, some of it I'm like, all right, that was an odd choice.
It's also the same writers from the first movie too, which I thought was kind of strange. And maybe they should have brought what the fuck's his name? William, the guy who directed the first movie. Do you remember?
I forget.
His name's William too.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, maybe they should have brought him back to do the second one.
Maybe,
but I'm surprised because like it's the same writers, and this is just not as good or coherent as the first one. It's not as compelling.
I would agree, and maybe save a lot of those thoughts for the end.
Well, yeah.
It's not what I was expecting, put it that way. But anyway, we go from that opening credits to this hilarious scene where Willis comes in, dressed to the fucking nines.
Meanwhile, like Blacula's sipping like cognac, and he's fucking ski bopping into the fucking room, and he's like, oh, I'm feeling. He's like singing something, and he's got this fucking big pimp hat on and shirt and shit, and like these sunglasses, and he's feeling fresh, dude. And he looks in the mirror and he can't fucking see himself.
He says, man, this is just wrong. He's like, a man's got to be able to look at himself. He's like, what's wrong with this? What did you do to me? He's like, yeah, that's part of the curse. Because Blacula has a very deep voice.
Oh, it's very distinguished.
And he's from Africa originally. So he has a little bit of that accent on certain words at the end of certain sentences.
Sure.
But it's mostly that I'm very distinguished.
Oh, he's a very distinguished gentleman, yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's a prince.
This is true. But Willis is like, I can take all this fucking vampire shit, man, but I can't fucking see myself.
And he's like, do I look good? Do I look He's like, do I look good, Blacula? Do I look good? And he's like, where do you think you're going? He's like, I'm going out to a party. And this is the thing that gets me. He literally leaves this cult or whatever you want to call it in like the worst way possible, I'm going to get my revenge on you. You're never going to get away with this. Oh, I got to go to this party with all those people I just told off. Because my old lady's there. It's going to kill me if I don't go.
But what is he going to do when he gets there? Is he going to be like, well, I'm a fucking vampire now, so I'm just going to kill you?
Right.
Or whatever. He's very okay with it, other than the fact that, it ain't hip that he can't see himself.
Yeah.
And fucking, but before he leaves, fucking Blacula's like, you're not going anywhere. You're my fucking bitch, and you're my vampire slave boy now.
And he's like, well, what are you gonna do? He's like, I'll rip out your heart if you don't listen to me. He's like, oh,
I will cut your chest and rip out your heart.
And then we, so of course he listens, he abides, and we get his friends pull up to pick him up.
Yeah, we get a little bit of flashback to the first movie too, like how Blacula became Blacula.
Yeah, I guess, sure, why not?
And I guess that's the thing too, because like he reflects a lot in this movie. And like coming back to the first one and like how he's like, fuck, I remembered how I was cursed. And now I was fucking dead. And now I'm back. Son of a bitch.
Yeah, and I mean, I get, again, we're going to get into it a little bit once we get to Pam Grier.
Yeah.
But the idea that I thought for most of the movie, to be perfectly honest, the way I was thinking about it is he was going to ask her to resurrect his wife, to be honest. I guess he didn't have the bones, so maybe not.
Well, I thought Pam Grier. Well, we'll get to it.
Yeah, but that's where I thought it was going, and it goes in a different direction.
Yeah, I think they missed. They should have done that because you're right. So they go to this fucking party, or Willis stays home and I don't know what has to clean the house or some shit.
Well, he's got to clean up these bodies first because before this party situation happens. Willis's friends come to pick him up, and he's got this massive house. I swear to God, they used this in Scarface, this big-ass mansion. I can picture the fucking people at the end coming in with the machine guns on the lawn.
This is the fucking Carson mansion, dude. I'm convinced Burnham married into the fucking Voodoo family and became a Carson because we never know their last names, right?
And obviously from, Texas Chainsaw 3D and Leatherface 2017.
Jesus Christ, yeah. There's a fucking Leatherface man in that basement.
Again.
Crazy white cannibal man.
After this video, go over to Hack the Movies on YouTube and watch that worst Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie to know what the hell we're talking about. But yeah, somehow Leatherface's family gets money in the later film.
It's fucking bad.
Yeah. But it's the same. I could see it, Joey, especially with the MDU connections.
Oh, big time.
It's possible down the line. First it was Blacula, or Willis rather.
Yeah.
Then the Carsons took it. And then it got, left to
Heather
at the end of that film.
Verna inherits it first, then moves in, and then leaves it to Heather.
And somewhere in between there, I guess Scarface. I don't know. I already screwed up the timeline.
It lines up. This is 73.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah,
that there could have been rapid in and out. I mean, Scarface might have only been there a month and then collapsed on that pile of cocaine. I don't know. But anyway, so they go.
I'm just saying it lines up with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre timeline.
Yeah. Well, the original timeline, at least.
Well, the timeline that we're talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, they show up. What the fuck are their names?
Doesn't even matter.
Elaine,
Louie and something.
Elaine and Lewis.
Yeah. They just go in. And, of course, they're playing up this creepy mansion aspect, which I actually thought was pretty cool.
There's a lot of good stock sequences in this. I wouldn't say it's as scary or as well shot as the first one. I think because it's way cheaper than the first one.
Oh, yeah. Takes out Louis.
It's
cool, too, because he kind of does that vampire, glide at him.
He's on some kind of fucking dolly or something because he comes fucking right at him. And then bites him, and doesn't he throw him down the fucking stairs?
Yeah. Well, no, he's kind of over her, or over him, rather.
Oh, yeah.
Very reminiscent of Night of the Living Dead.
Right.
I thought of, Resident Evil, which obviously came many years later with the zombie over the body.
Yeah. No, yeah. He bites him on the stairs, though.
And the girlfriend sees him and
freaks the fuck out.
She freaks out. And then Willis comes up behind her. And now, and that's the other thing, again, much like Blacula, when he transforms, for lack of a better term, or goes full vampire.
Yeah.
When Willis does that, they do this weird thing, by the way. And I would love to know the reasoning behind that. But like I said, there's not a ton about, BTS information.
Yeah.
They have a different hairstyle every time they transform. Because this guy's got a really nice afro, and then his hair almost looks like this bad fucking wig that they shoved over his head.
It's not even an afro. Again, it's like that where they straighten their hair and make it big. Again, it looks like that fucking Prince
yes, no, that's
cover.
True. But it looks like, I guess they're just trying to show that they're disheveled because they're kind of now in this feral mode.
It's their transform mode, but
and their face gets paler with makeup.
Yeah, they have the paler face and the bags under their eyes and stuff. They look like fucking vampire zombies.
That's what I was thinking. And I immediately think of from Dungeons and Dragons. They have this one enemy called Vampire Spawn, which is basically what it is. The ones that the main vampires transform and make them do their bidding.
Yeah. Which is very clearly what this is.
Oh, yeah.
And Blacula's like, I'm not having any of this shit. You're all my fucking brood now.
He gets quite a collection by the end of the film. He even picks up some of those bad guys from Resident Evil 4 from the castle. Those hooded people. He's got a few of them.
Lord Sadler.
Oh, let's go.
Matano.
Yeah, walking with the shield, hitting with a damn mace in the head. But then, Blacula, he does go to the party because he finds out about it through Willis.
Yeah.
Because Justin is a collector of African artifacts.
Yeah. Somehow he was an ex-detective and then became a curator of African artifacts.
What a career path.
And he has a shit ton of them there, specifically from the same tribe that Mamuwalde was the prince of the Ebony tribe in Africa. And he says like it I don't even know if I wrote it down, but it's some kind of like river region or something like that, he says. And he speaks to the guy in Swahili or whatever dialect he's using
at the party.
At the party, because there's Justin, his name's Justin, right?
Yeah.
There's Justin, who's the curator guy. Pam Grier is Lisa Fortier. And the other guy is just like another African art dealer.
Yeah, he's like I think he's even like a professor because they say that.
Oh yeah, he says doctor. Yeah,
yeah, because Justin, he had been collecting this stuff for years and was like donating it to the college, and he was like, oh, this is kind of like a going away party of sorts.
But fucking straight up, like Mamuwalde or Blacula, that's his name, Mamuwalde, and he sees the artifacts like in the case, and he's like, oh, I know what that is. That's Princess Princess Luva's necklace from my tribe. And I'm like, that's the chick from the first movie.
Yeah,
that's his wife. And I was thinking like, oh shit. He's like, no, did you find the matching one? Because I'm thinking like, oh, that's his. So I'm like, so my whole idea was like, shit, he's gonna fucking steal that. Give it to Pam Grier and then seduce Pam Grier and, whatever. She doesn't look like his old wife, but he needs a new mate or something.
I was kind of thinking the same thing or something in that similar wavelength for sure.
Yeah,
Joe.
and I guess it subverted my expectations in that respect.
Of course, because vampires are going to vampire while being kind of shown around by Pam Grier, and they get a little close for a minute or two while they kind of chit-chat about the artifact and that she is powerful in voodoo. One of her friends, stupid old Gloria, cuts her hand. And, just like every other vampire movie, now that the vampire's in the room with the blood, I gotta get the hell out of Dodge.
Oh, he's like, oh shit, I've got to go. There's a quick scene, though, when they show that voodoo doll, and he's like, there's what kind of doll is that? And she's like, oh, I don't know, a voodoo doll or some shit? Ask Pam Grier, she knows.
Yeah.
And he's like, foreshadowing. Well, gotta go, or else I'm gonna kill your friend.
Well,
but he does anyway.
Yeah. He goes outside, he leaves, and Justin's like, well, can we meet up again? You can look at some artifacts? He's like, I'm more of a night person. I love to sleep away the days.
He leaves and just walks in the back door.
Yeah, and he goes upstairs. He's like creeping around. You get this cool POV shot.
This is a great scene because this is the best part of the movie in my opinion.
It's definitely up there, one of the best.
It's a great scene because the music too that's playing, it's kind of like the sensual kind of like beat bop and going on, and he comes in the room and he opens the door and she let me preface this with the fact that Gloria is like turned around in her mirror, right? So she's looking in her mirror, she's looking at her hand, she's fixing her face, whatever, and she hears the door turn. She looks back. She's like, oh, is that whatever? And then there's nobody there. And then he opens the door, but it's the POV from the mirror. So you can't see him come in the room and she can't see him behind her until he's like right fucking there. It was cool.
I thought that was kind of genius. Like you're just playing up the stuff with the mirrors, that's that thing. Because I think they even make a joke in this movie that it's like, oh, even a 10-year-old knows this. Like, they're talking about the voodoo stuff, which comes up in a minute. But
or vampirism, rather.
Right, but it's that playing up that idea that anyone that knows anything about vampires knows about the mirror stuff. Plus, they establish it in that scene with Willis, so it's like, oh my god, that was cool.
I never quite seen it done like that before. I mean, obviously, there's a bunch of great scenes from the old Hammer films, or even like the one that really comes to mind is the one from Fright Night when Peter Vincent has the fucking mirror and he can't see Jerry,
right?
And he drops it. But but it's just so good, and he advances upon her and bites her, but the way that the music is going and the way he's like drinking her blood, it's like he's fucking coming, and it's like the most like obviously vampires are erotic. Duh.
Well, yeah.
They're the sexiest monster, and they're always fucking and sucking. But like the way that the music is with this, I don't know, it really works. It's like this weirdly sensual kind of scene.
I would agree.
It's fucking cool.
And then he gets the fuck out of Dodge, and this part's hilarious. There's not a lot of comedy in that first one, but this one has like it's kind of dark comedy and just some of the lines some of these characters fire off. But this was hilarious because he comes back out, he sneaks back out like the garage side entrance.
Yeah.
And there's this like really drunk guy outside, and he hears the police coming because Gloria comes down and passes out dead. So they call the cops.
Yeah.
And he just is like, fuck it. He transforms again. Transformation in the first one, way better animation.
I think they only do it once in the first one.
Yeah, but I want to say, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I'll look it up after the fact, but it's like they actually kind of do a little bit more of the animation, almost similar to the Lugosi one almost.
Yeah, well, they're taking a shit in that opening credits, so it's like it's the same kind. There's no tweens. It just kind of skips right to him either coming into bad form or out of it.
It's almost like he just threw a dissolve effect in Premiere over it.
It's not good.
No. But he flies away and the bat looks like crap or whatever. You get the point.
Yeah.
I almost prefer if they just had a damn fucking fake one on a string.
No, I would have preferred like a shadow or something like they did in Monster Squad. That was cool.
But yeah, so this guy, he's just so drunk. He just looks, he's like, shit. And you just see this bat flying in traffic and shit.
Oh yeah, why is he flying so close to the cars?
Because that's the best they could do.
And
They're
then
like,
it's like,
all right, we're going to film this and just throw the bat in later. It'll look fine.
Okay, I'm going down to some fucking dirty street to walk around. Before we get to that, I just want to make a note that he talks to Pam about her being a voodoo priestess and how she's like powerful with voodoo. And he starts to show an interest in it. And he's like, I'm sort of a magician myself or whatever. And wink, wink. And he's like, where does your power come from? Right?
Mm-hmm.
I really like this scene where he talks to Pam about
Fucking voodoo magic, man.
because it's very Dracula. Like, he's like, what is this complicated science of voodoo?
Oh, yeah. And she's like, well, science. I never thought about it that way.
I never heard it put like that. And he's like, yeah, well, I invented science and magic and all of this shit or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, according to Castlevania anyway.
Sure.
But like, I like that aspect of it, right? He's a very learned dude.
Oh, yeah.
Who's interested in that shit. But it's a power that he's never seen before or kind of fucked with for how, I don't know.
He was in that coffin for what, 200 years locked?
He was a prince in Africa.
True.
You know what I mean? Like he must have heard it or something about it or something. Anyway, case in point is like she says that the voodoo is based on faith, a very powerful faith in the magic, and that's how it works, right? So she just really believes in that particular thing, and that's why it works.
A little bit of faith magic.
Yeah.
They had that on the X-Files, believe it or not, so it's a thing.
Well, it's the same idea of like putting forward thought forms and shit like that, where if you concentrate really hard, or like that's the idea of a tulpa, right?
Oh, yeah.
Where you concentrate really hard and put the thought form out into the universe, and you think about it so hard, and you actually materialize it in reality.
Just like in our season 4 episode, Here Comes Santa Claus, where if you just wish hard enough, little boy, your parents will come back from their lost expedition in Africa.
Do you think that those kids were fucking tulpas in that, or that those parents were tulpas, right? They were like evil spirits that came back, like, hey, little Johnny.
Oh my god, it's
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, they're like their eyes turn red
or
after
black.
the credits.
Yeah.
Oh my god, they suck his soul out.
Fuck him.
But yeah, so he leaves the party and he's walking down this like street and he passes like a working girl and he doesn't get it or doesn't care and she kind of walks away.
He's so confused by the sex worker.
Yeah.
He's like, what? She's like, wanna hang out? He's like, no.
And then these two pimps come up and are like,
what's the matter? The goods ain't good enough?
Again, they did this in the first movie and I understand. We are like, what, 30, 40 years removed from this film at this point? 50 years, actually?
Yeah.
It was a different time. However, both of these movies gotta make the gay, like, insults. They gotta drop that F-bomb, man.
Well, yeah.
What are you, some kind of, brat?
Yeah, but, like, I don't know.
They get killed, so who really cares? They get the comeuppance, but I'm like, all right, thank you, 1973.
I have no idea why we need to do that, but anyway, it's funny because he's talking. He's like, we want your bread, man. He's like, give it up, motherfucker. He's like, I see that cape. It's nice. You must got fucking money. And he's like, I have no bread on me. And he's like, if you're gonna kick my ass, I severely suggest you rethink your decision there.
Well, it's especially Blacula's famous move. It's just boom,
tossing pimp slapping motherfuckers and throwing them into things.
And 99% of the time, unless for plot reasons, they die on the first hit.
Oh, it's fucking great. He throws this one. The first guy goes right through a fucking plate glass window. The budget's there for that.
The other guy gets thrown against like a door, and you just see blood all over the door.
Knock the fuck out, and then Mamuwalde sucks him dry.
Yeah. And while that's going on, the cops get to Justin and Lisa's, and this Sarge character or the chief or what have you is grilling them like, oh, you know, this looks like a damn big brown snake or something here, just like a monster in the closet.
Oh my God.
Because it's got 2 pincer marks right on the neck, and you voodoo people, you do stuff with snakes. And it's like that thing where it's like the guy, like, he's not trying to be racist, but is he trying to be racist, or is he just ignorant?
He comes right out and he's like, you know, I don't fucking like black people or whatever's, but like for you, I'll make an exception. And then I'm like, well, wait, excuse me. He's like, look, whatever. I think it was the voodoo chick because that's the only thing that makes sense because, like you said, like, there's snake bites and voodoos and they also drink the fucking bloods or whatever. So, you know, it's the voodoo lady.
And he keeps standing there saying all these like ignorant comments, and like Pam Grier looks like she's about to cry, which I don't blame her at all.
Pam Grier is like, can you just fucking stop insulting me and my culture for like 2 seconds?
And Justin's just like, every time the guy says something, it's like, all right, enough. He's like, I know what you're saying, but you're not necessarily saying it the way maybe you should be.
He has apparently like Justin's an ex-detective too. And
well, they used to work together.
Yeah, and he's like, look, you're not a detective anymore, or whatever. I don't know why I did 2 different voices for that guy, by the way. I'm trying to remember what it was, and it was something where it was like somewhere between a Jersey accent and I don't know what. Anyway.
So, you know, as he's interrogating them, they get the call about the pimps getting killed. So, okay, well, maybe it's not Pam Grier, even though for the rest of the film, he's on this kick that it is Pam Grier.
No, because
how she would have gone across town and done this while they're there talking to her, I don't know.
Right, he throws her right out the window immediately because he goes over there and he's just, you were right. I guess she's not the killer. But it's the same way they died in the house.
Yeah. And then like an important detail that comes up later is they take pictures obviously of the crime scenes. And then,
oh yeah,
spoilers, all the victims are vampires.
Well, no shit.
Because they don't show up in the photos. Yeah. And Justin's now kind of on the hunt, and he's like, all right, I'm gonna go to the library and read some books on the occult.
So Willis's girlfriend was at that party.
Oh yeah, she goes to the house.
Right, but that's why he wanted to leave so bad. And Mamuwalde's like, no, motherfucker, you're staying here. And he's like, but my old lady's gonna fucking kick my ass or whatever.
Yeah.
So she comes to the house and she's pissed that he wasn't at the party. And she comes in the house and he like creeps up on her. You think he's gonna kill her, but he doesn't immediately.
It's actually shot really well because they keep his whole body shadowed.
Yeah.
And you could see he's in the vampire form based on the hair.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, it's Big Willis, baby. He's like, oh, your bones are so tight, so tense. And he's like giving her a massage and shit. And I love this because he lays her down on the couch and he's like giving her a massage, and he starts doing it like hard on her. And she turns around and he's got his fucking vampire teeth out. And she's like, what are you doing? She's like, take those fucking stupid things out of your mouth. You're crazy. And then, you know, she fucking gets it good.
Yeah. And she almost gets taken out by mouthing off a little too much later to Blacula, excuse me.
Well, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But we cut to Pam, and Pam is like going on fucking safari, man. She's wearing some like kind of Banana Republic looking shit. And she's at the viewing for Gloria.
Oh yeah.
And this is I think this might be my favorite scene because we get this long shot that like goes around Pam and like shows Gloria like in the coffin and like sit up and stuff. And the music here is really good. And it reminded me a lot of like Salem's Lot, like when Danny Glick's outside what's his face's window and he's like clawing on. He's like, let me in.
Oh
whatever.
God.
But Gloria wakes up and she's like, hey, Lisa, I'm fine. Lisa, come hang out with me, Lisa.
Yeah, she almost like hypnotizes her.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's creepy.
Yeah,
for sure.
and then like this is where Mamuwalde basically plays, you know, shows his hand.
Oh, he kicks the fucking door in and he's like, don't you hurt her. He's like, get the fuck out. Go back to my mansion with the rest of the fucking invalids.
And this is where he kind of like, you know, he freaks Pam out hardcore, but this is where he kind of lays down what he wants her to do for him. Like, I need your help.
Yeah, he asks her about doing the voodoo and how the power of the voodoo can possibly cure the curse.
He asks her to do that voodoo that she do
so well.
Yeah.
Fucking voodoo magic, man.
And she is very hesitant naturally so. But while that's happening, Justin's kind of doing his research on the occult.
Yeah, he goes to the library, like you said. Fucking Haggerty's there in the occult section. He's like, hey, did you find a book on Elfenhood, man? He's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I'm looking for vampires.
And if you don't know what we're talking about, go back to season 2.
Season 2 episode, I don't know. It's probably on the screen right now. Dan Haggerty in Elves.
Dan Haggerty absolutely coming back at some point this year. We already know the movie. It's just a matter of scheduling it.
It's absolutely coming.
You know what it is.
I do.
But yeah, he finds out, or at least he thinks it's a vampire based on what he's reading.
Yeah.
And he takes that information to the cops, and they laugh in his face.
The lieutenant's like, what are you talking about? He's like, a vampire? What? A vampire?
He literally walks to his door and opens. He's like, hey, Phil, did you hear this? He thinks it's a vampire.
It's a fucking vampire.
You just hear laughter down the hallway.
And then fucking one of the dudes comes in. He's like, Lieutenant, we have these photographs. And he fucking shows him the photographs. And there's no bodies. Like there's like dudes like just holding it looks like they're holding nothing on this gurneys. And he's like, well, what about that? Justin's like, what about that? Look, there's no fucking bodies, man. Like, just, and entertain me for a second. They're vampires. And he's like, I don't fucking, the film was fucked up. I don't know.
And I think, I couldn't confirm this. I just saw the man's name on Wikipedia. Again, maybe this is someone that wrote that and doesn't know what they're talking about.
That happens a lot on Wikipedia and IMDb, too.
But supposedly, Sarge, which I think is that cop that comes in and he has like a throwaway line.
That's definitely...
It's supposed to be Craig T. Nelson.
That is not Craig T. Nelson.
Or he has a line in the background, but that's your other poltergeist actor? If that's accurate.
It's not him.
Somebody let me know.
He might be in it. In like a different scene for like a hot second, but that's definitely not him.
Because we have a lot of disposable police officers at the end of this film, much like the end of the last one, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
These ones at least come with stakes at the end here, but they don't last long, as we find out.
We'll get to that.
So now he's basically trying to rile the troops.
Well, yeah. So like he's moving on his plan, or Blacula's moving on his plan of getting Pam Grier to use voodoo to stop the curse or take the curse out of him or whatever. So he goes back to the fucking mansion and he's basically like, listen, motherfuckers. He's like, all of you don't touch Lisa Fortier because I need her for some shit. And if I find out you're fucking around, I'll kill you all. And they're like, okay.
Cut to Willis and Denny, his girlfriend.
They're just like immediately. It's so weird because they're all in like their dirty fucking vampire form, and then all of a sudden they're fucking ski bopping around. They're fucking eating their cheese and wine.
They're eating their bag of bones, baby. They're breaking them out. Happy Halloween. Trick or Trash came early this year. But yeah, they again.
Willis now has a cape on and his fucking glasses, and he's like, I'm gonna go fucking smack that bitch Pam Grier. He's like, I hate that bitch. She's like, she's gonna get what's coming to her. Man, it's not gonna be from me.
She's like, I never liked her.
Yeah. Because she took the Loa position from him.
Well, I also think it's just because she got transformed into a vampire. Now she's evil, so fuck her.
Who?
Denny.
No, Pam Grier I'm talking about.
No, I'm saying his girlfriend Denny, I think is just saying that because she's got turned into a vampire, so now she's evil. So she's like, I never liked Pam Grier.
Oh, well, yeah, she says that too, yeah. So they're fucking hatching this plan, and Blacula just comes in the back and is like, excuse me, motherfucker.
Willis, learn to not face your back to the doorway.
Not only like face your back to the, he's screaming about this. And he's like,
I hope nobody comes up behind me with a knife.
Or, I hope fucking the guy who said he's going to rip my heart out of my chest doesn't come in while I'm plotting to kill the person he told us just not to do.
You know what would have been incredible if they had a little bit more of a budget? Granted, it's not the movie they're trying to make. Just fucking, he's mouthing off, coming up with this plan to kill Pam Grier, and you just see like, from the back, just the hand push through and just rip the fucking heart out.
I wish.
Because Willis is, I thought this character was going to do a lot more in the movie with the way they set this up. And he is like, in the back half of this film, he is like useless.
He's not even like a main bad guy. No. Like he stays in the house the whole time. And like only Blacula goes out and does stuff unless he has people that he turned that are coming back to the mansion like Gloria. Other than that, like Willis doesn't have shit to do except fucking wax about how he's gonna hurt Pam Grier and then get fucking spanked by Blacula.
Yeah. So then Blacula tells him, just add insult to injury.
And he spares him again, though.
Yeah, well, he's like, because I spared you again, you can clean up the room I need to have this ritual with Pam Grier.
Make sure there's hot tea or some shit. Make it comfortable. And it's like a room in the basement that they're going to do voodoo in.
And he's like, if anyone disturbs us, you'll pay for it. Because it's like this thing where if it gets interrupted, it won't work, of course.
Fucking voodoo magic, man.
There's a quick scene that we skipped over a little bit. There's another one of those lab scenes like we have in the first one. There's like two scientist characters that are in a lab, and I forget what they're analyzing, but in this one particularly, Justin or the crime guys,
yes.
the forensics team finds bat hairs. And he's like, look at that shit. He's like, what am I looking at? He's like, it's fucking bat hairs. It's, I don't know. I never saw that species before, but, So Justin ends up, he's reading all his books and stuff, and he ends up going back to his house and inviting Mamuwalde over because they said like earlier that he wanted to ask him about some like artifact or something.
Yeah.
So he goes there and he's like, I got some books. He's like, oh, look, the occult. Do you believe in that stuff or whatever? And he's like, I don't really know. He's like, this book is trying to tell me that vampires are real, that I should believe in vampires.
Yeah, it's a really good scene, actually, because you can kind of tell that they both know or suspect each other, but like they're kind of waiting to see who's going to jump first.
I think it's too ham-fisted for me because the first movie does it better. When he's talking to that dude from Mom and Dad Save the World.
Oh, yeah.
And they're out like
Thomas
to eat.
Thorasa, I think that was, or something like that.
I forget his name, but he's talking.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, it's just a better scene in the first movie, and like this one's very like on the nose, because he's like, vampires real. He's like, I do believe in vampires. Would you like some wine? It's deep red like blood.
Yeah.
It's blood. You're a vampire.
And then he's like, well, I hope if there is a vampire, you are its next unsuspecting victim.
He's like, if you fuck with that vampire, he's going to kick your fucking ass. So don't do it, bud. Wink. See you later.
Yeah. Okay, get him out of here.
Okay, he's dead.
And like Mamuwalde walks out all tense. Again, like they don't know now, but they know. They know. They're onto each other.
I actually have it down here. He goes, he's like, here's some profound advice. Return all these books because you're pathetically unintelligent.
Yeah.
You stupid human. Like, I'll fucking smack the shit out of you.
Yeah. I mean, again, if he wanted to, if he just wanted to end it there, obviously he can't, because then Pam Grier, if she finds out her boyfriend's dead, or whatever this man is to her, because at some point Mamuwalde even kisses her, and I'm like, what? When did this happen?
Well...
And I'm just like, what? Yeah. Justin's getting hung out to dry here.
Well, that's kind of weird. So Mamuwalde goes back to Pam's.
Yeah.
And I love how it cuts, because she's like, I believe it. I don't know why I believe it, but I believe it. And then it pulls out, and Mamuwalde's like, fucking believe it. I'm a vampire. And basically he just kind of sweet talks her, and he's like, I need you to use the voodoo to make me not a vampire anymore, please. Even though I turned all your friends into vampires and your cousin or whatever the fuck he is.
Yeah, and then
what is he gonna do? If he turns back, they're still gonna be vampires.
This isn't one of those situations like Bram Stoker's Dracula. If you kill Blacula, all of them change back.
Yeah, or anything even like. I mean, maybe
we may never find out.
I mean, Dracula needs to die, and technically, if Dracula's dead by this time, why isn't Mamuwalde not a vampire anymore?
Yeah, they don't always follow the quote unquote rules.
Oh well, yeah. They bend them constantly, but but these cops show up because They go to apprehend Pam Grier because the guy's like, oh yeah, it'll be safe, and because they go see Gloria's coffin,
yeah,
and she's not in there. He's like, no body there, huh? And he's like, oh, where'd it go? He's talking to the pallbearer or whatever, whoever the fuck, and he's like, your body's gone.
Justin and the lieutenant are talking to him. Yeah.
And then he sends two cops over to Pam Grier's house. And they're like, oh, we got a fucking warrant, baby, to arrest you. Or you're coming with us. And my boy's like, you should probably not do that. I'm going to give you like one more chance to get the fuck out of here. And they're like, you know what you're talking to? Black man?
Yeah, oh my god, yeah, they gotta get racist.
Oh, immediately.
Mamuwalde just ruins these guys.
Yeah.
Not only their day, but their lives, because again, one punch, that's all it takes.
He uppercuts
the one dude into the other guy, and they both go flying into this pantry.
He fucking grabs him and throws him into the other guy, and they go blasting through this like heavy wood door into like, I don't know what, the living room or some shit. Knocks him the fuck out.
Talk about a concussion.
It's great.
And then I think they even send a cop over to Willis's. I think, like you may have mentioned previously, to check on him. And I think that guy even gets killed. So then they're like, all right, well, maybe there's something to this vampire theory.
Because of what happened to the guys, then he's like, oh, maybe, okay, super strength, it must be a vampire. He's not on PCP, folks. He's a vampire.
Yeah, like body by Jake
yeah.
from Home Sweet Home.
Yeah. So yeah, he's got... So the whole fucking police force like goes to the mansion with steak, not guns or garlic or crosses, fucking steaks.
Okay.
Wooden steak, just one each.
Well, they first, to be fair, they do come out with like shotguns and machine guns, and Justin's like, no. And he finds like a fucking broken picket fence on the ground. And he's like, take these. And he like breaks it apart, and they each grab one.
So fucking stupid.
I'm like, okay, sure, why not?
So these cops are running around. They go into this. They go into the mansion and they go through the house and they're looking for everybody. And meanwhile, the vampires wake up, and then there's like a lot of like vampires getting staked and cops getting killed and all this kind of stuff. It's not particularly interesting.
The only one that I've noticed even killed any of the vampires is Justin and the lieutenant. All the other ones just get surrounded and immediately killed.
Yeah, and it's like it's mostly off screen kind of stuff. I mean, we do get a few stabbings, but not like the first movie where we're lighting fucking people on fire and people are getting stabbed and thrown into shit. That was really fucking cool.
We do get Justin at one point. He ends up grabbing like this Van Helsing ass like crossbow.
Oh yeah. He grabs it off the wall.
Yeah, and the lieutenant gets like a fucking battle axe.
Yeah,
and Justin, he ends up meeting up with Willis and Denny, and they kind of corner him on the stairwell.
Yeah,
and Willis is talking trash. And
he doesn't even say anything.
Well, he like walks up to him. He's walking up to him, lumbering up like Mr. X from another Resident Evil game. This unstoppable force, and he just unloads 3 arrows into him, kills him, and he falls over.
Yeah, he has no problem killing Willis.
No,
but when he has to kill Denny, he's like, "Oh shit, it's Denny." And some cops like, "Hey, what the fuck are you doing?"
This is my ex. I don't know.
And he
slept together,
and he stabs her in the back, and she dies.
Oh yeah.
At some point, Justin stakes James Brown. I just wanted to say that because I was like, get up off of that thing.
Yeah, then he breaks off the end and stabs another one.
That's pretty cool. That part's neat. I just wanted to note that.
Yeah. And while this is all going on, like we were saying, this ritual's happening in this secluded room that Willis is supposed to be protecting with his life.
But it's working.
Yeah.
Right? So Pam Grier is doing the spell on this voodoo doll, this little like fucking Blacula voodoo doll. Yeah. And it's working. And he's like, I can feel it. I'm becoming normal again or whatever. Question. I'm just going to say it now.
Okay.
We'll talk about it later. But if he becomes human again, won't he just like fucking like wither up and die?
I guess you could kind of go 2 different ways with that, right? Like either that would be the cynical way to go, but at least then he's
cured,
at peace, can't be resurrected.
His soul is saved.
Yeah, or honestly, this sounds shitty, but I feel like if he just went back to normal, the second that Justin kicks the door down, he's getting an arrow in the chest and he's dying.
Well, this is also we'll talk about that. So yeah, the fucking Justin kicks down the fucking door like right when they're about to finish, and he's like, "You motherfucker!" And he picks him up and throws him against the wall.
Now this is that 1%, that literal 1% that the throw or punch doesn't kill.
Well, he knocks him the fuck out. Yeah. And because Pam Grier is screaming, I'm like, "I don't kill him or whatever." And she's like, I'll help you. And he's like, okay, let's go. So he takes her and they go to leave. And then he ends up fucking fridging like 5 fucking cops. He fucking body slams some guy over a fucking railing, kicks some other motherfucker down the stairs.
And the whole time Pam Grier's like, no, don't do it. She's got this voodoo doll in her hand.
It throws another guy out the fucking window.
Yeah.
It's cool. I mean, that's all right. I want more of that.
Same.
Right? Because that last scene in the first movie where they're at like the power plant or whatever, he does that and he's just fucking killing people left and right, which is cool.
Yeah, he bodies a lot of people, and then Justin gets up from his quick, KO, his 1-minute KO, and he comes down with the bow and arrow.
No, but just the arrow. He like leaves.
Oh yeah,
like the gun's broken, and he's so Mamuwalde goes over to Pam and he's like, what? What's the matter? He's like, help me. She's like, you're a monster. Get away from me.
It took her this long to realize that?
I guess like it really blew her mind that he killed all those people in front of her. And he's like, what? What's the problem? Fix my shit. He's like, you're the only one that can help me. There's no other voodoo priestesses in the world.
I mean, you could have had Willis possibly help you, but instead you made him your Renfield.
Why did he take her to the mansion and not to some other secluded place?
Because then the movie falls apart.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
No, sure. Justin's trying to get him with the last arrow that he's
the black
using.
arrow. Yeah, Bard's black arrow. Yeah,
and then even the lieutenant comes in with that battle axe. He gets thrown to the ground.
He gets fucking smacked across the. He gets 5 across the face, man, into the other room.
And then Justin drops the arrow, and Blacula is essentially choking him to death.
Yeah,
and about to bite him. And then, from off screen, Pam Grier. It was very early in her career. She hadn't done coffee yet.
Are we going to talk about this now, or are we going to wait?
I kind of want to just talk about it real quick.
All right.
She hadn't done Foxy Brown.
Yeah.
She was still kind of coming into herself.
Yeah. Well, so
I totally blame myself.
Yeah, but she's done a bunch of women in prison movies.
Oh, okay, yeah, fair enough.
Before this, like the big dollhouse, I think.
Oh, okay. I think you actually talk about that on our coffee episode last year.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Again, maybe this is me just typecasting Pam Grier, and I apologize if that's how I'm coming across. But I was expecting Pam Grier to kick some ass in this movie, and she does at the very end here, and she is not a uninteresting character, but I was just kind of expecting more. She just kind of cries and cowers most of this movie.
She's not a really strong woman in this.
No. Person really at all.
And I guess like she kind of has to be that character because it's not I'm gonna fight Mamuwalde or Blacula rather. Right. It's not like a square off between them. So it's weird to see her in a role like this, especially after seeing that.
Yeah, and
like when you watch Coffee, you're like, oh my god, fucking Pam Grier is fucking blowing these guys' dicks off and fucking driving cars through people's fucking houses and shit.
She blows a guy's head up with a fucking double barrel shotgun in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, again, that's an audience issue on my part. Where my brain is going, but I was a little disappointed. By that.
But I feel like I will agree with you at that point in her career. I think that as far as her acting chops go. She wasn't that well refined, and I think because she doesn't have too much to do like physically in the movie, you kind of let that go in Coffee, and in this one it's like very like the prominent thing is her conversations with people, right?
Which are great.
Yeah, no, they're okay.
I mean, in the sense too, I like the ritual stuff that she does.
Yeah,
and again,
that's awesome.
They play up that like sexual kind of subtext a little bit with that.
Yeah, almost like it's very intimate and erotic, if you will.
But just to get back to the movie after that little side tangent about Pam, she takes that arrow that Justin had been trying to attack Blacula with and just starts stabbing the shit out of the voodoo doll.
Well, she stabs it once and he's like, "Whoa!" William Marshall is so fucking good in this scene, man. I mean, again, classically trained Shakespearean actor, and this fucking death is so over the top, but I never feel like it's corny, except for that last shot, which we're going to talk about. Just hang on. But Pam just is like stabbing the fuck out of this thing, and his like guttural screams are like pretty haunting.
Agreed.
So what happens? What do you think's gonna happen? Is Blacula gonna fucking go up in flames in the middle of the house? Is he gonna turn to dust? Are we gonna drag him outside? Is he gonna turn to bones like the first movie? Nope.
He gets stuck in a freeze frame.
He gets stuck in a fucking freeze frame. This camera, it's like a shot from the top of the stairway, like looking down at him, and he's just like, "Oh, Blacula!" And then it just holds on it, and it fucking ends.
But then, like, the credits roll, and it goes to another still shot, and it's like
from the beginning of him, like his face, and it's like, what are we doing here? Why did we end it that way? Did we run out of film? Did we run out of budget? What the fuck?
I think it was the money, man. They spent it all.
But come on. You know what? You could have took out one of those bat transformations and put in his demise at the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because there's a second one in there that was just as crappy.
There's no fucking reason to do him transforming into a bat twice.
No.
You know? And it's not even... And it looks like shit, and there's no really even point to it.
And then, credits roll. That's the movie.
It's just a really bad fucking ending. Like...
You have all these minions, and you think it's gonna be this big
brawl,
and it's just kind of No, just a bunch of cops get killed, and then Justin takes the rest out.
It's very isolated too. Like, it's not like, whereas you had that big warehouse scene in the first one, like we were just talking about, where they're throwing fucking like holy water vials and they're like exploding on them like fucking Simon Belmont. But like, and that's crazy, and like it's big, and it's a big action set piece. This is just like very contained. Like, we're in a hallway. Here's a vampire. Here's a guy. Who's gonna win? I don't know. Probably the guys. They're gonna stab him, and then that's it. We have that really that cool scene like we talked about with Justin when he like kills James Brown and breaks the other thing off and kills the other guy. But other than that, it's pretty fucking tame. If Mamuwalde isn't fucking smacking somebody through a window.
Yeah.
This is one of those sequels that we didn't need. Like, there's no compelling story. And I think the reason for that is, like, we're introduced to Willis and the voodoo aspect of it. I like how they bring him back via voodoo. I think that's really fucking cool to be like, oh, here's his bones.
Yeah.
Let's bring him back. I think the story surrounding it is fucking thin as fuck. And it just is not good. Like Pam's character needs a lot more to do, and she's literally just there to be a cure to Mamuwalde. She doesn't like have her own thing she's doing. We never explore her doing more like voodoo stuff or like becoming the Mama Loa or being with the cult and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, she doesn't have too much to do. But I wish that it went differently at the end. Like, I think that might have saved it, right? If we did what you were just talking about, like if we had Pam actually cure Mamuwalde in that room, like she actually succeeds and he turns back into a person, and the sun is rising and the sun rays, and just as she finishes, the sun rays come through the window and it like hits his skin and he doesn't burst into flames, and he's like, oh, and then you have that really nice moment where like he's a human again, and she helped him out, and that's nice. And then fucking Justin kicks the fucking door down and then shoots him in the chest with a fucking crossbow bolt, and then he fucking dies in Pam's arms. That would have been great and tragic.
I totally agree, but I also guess I understand why maybe they wanted to end it on more of a women empowerment note than just, oh shit, that was bleak.
But it's not even a woman empowerment movie.
I don't know, or even a positive note, I guess, instead of a negative note, rather.
I mean, it's just to tie the voodoo back together. But I like the idea of shedding.
I like that idea a lot. Don't get me wrong. I'm just trying to understand like why they did what they did.
No, but I like the idea of shedding a positive light on the Haitian culture and voodoo in general, because everybody associates it with like bringing zombies back or like hurting or cursing someone, and never about positive aspects of it. So I think that would have been a positive aspect, and the direct relation or reaction that people would have to that. You see what I'm saying?
Listen, I'm all here for what you're saying. I also get why maybe they didn't do that. Also, clearly the budget was running out at the end there.
No, but I'm saying it would have just
probably would have been cheaper, honestly.
Yeah, it would have been cheaper to do it because it's only there for her to be like, look, here's the fucking Blacula voodoo doll, and I'm gonna stab the shit out of it, and then it dies ? Because like, were they gonna leave it open for Blacula 3 or what?
From what I read, it just didn't do that well compared to the first one. And a lot of people weren't as hot on it. I feel like I saw somebody else was like Roger Ebert or one of them actually enjoyed it. But beyond that, like I didn't see too many people at the time that gave it a glowing review.
Here we go. Our first video version of the dumpster trial. So where are we putting this?
It's in the dumpster, Joe.
Yeah?
It's in the fucking dumpster.
I'm going to agree.
I'll say this. I did like this movie. I definitely like the first one better. And even the first one, I think it's okay. I think it's worth watching. I think it's a good time, but I don't love it. And I like this one less. So I would still say, if you saw the first one and you're itching for some more Blacula, definitely check it out. But like, I don't know, there's just like a lot of little things about this that I wasn't crazy about. They just, that we kind of just talked about, but I like some of the music, some of it not so much. The animation, again, I understand 1973, not the biggest budget, but just do something else. I don't need to see the flip book fucking bat going across the screen with black marker or whatever that was.
Really bad.
The whole like random bum with the bones, like, okay, fine. I mean, I guess I'm getting nitpicky at that point, but it's just like, I don't know, it just doesn't come together well. And I like the ending that you just said over the ending we got. And, you know, not that that really matters.
Sure.
But I don't know, man. Just something about this film. It just really let me down. And I know some people do like this a lot and like it more than the first one. But for me, it just... it left a bad taste in my mouth, like not bad enough to like never watch it again. Like I wasn't like spitting on the floor and like, you know, cleaning my mouth out with soap or anything. But I was just like, yeah, that tastes like, it's like a cow tail. Do you ever eat a cow tail?
I really like cow tails.
Okay, well, I don't. It's like, I like the center, but whatever's around it, like I'm a caramel guy, but that ain't doing it for me.
No, well, I get what you're saying.
Perfect example. The cream is William Marshall as Blacula, and the rest of the movie is surrounding him. And you know, we'll put it like that. You open up the dumpster, you take this film, and you know, there's some open spaces in there for it to be inserted. So, you know, you transform into a bat and drop it in there, I guess. And you know, you drop a little guana on it on the way down. And it just, you know, it kind of floats down through the crap, all the hypodermic needles and the, you know, the dirty diapers and the old McDonald's bags that Daniel Baldwin obviously left there for the tapes that are in there with it.
Gotcha.
And I think it's about middle dumpster. Again, I just didn't love this movie. I thought it was fine. Would revisit at some point, but definitely not in a hurry.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to put it in the dumpster too. I'm gonna echo the sentiment that like it's not a bad movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoyed it fine or well enough rather. Definitely not as good as the first one, and it's lacking all of the bite, for a better lack of a better term, of the first one. There's a compelling story in the first one, even though it's a story you've heard a million fucking times. It's basically Dracula, but with a black cast, right? Which is fine with me, and I'm into it. And I like, you know, we discussed what we liked about that on that episode, so I'm not going to go too far into it, but it does its job as like a kind of black gothic horror movie. With like a funk spin on it, which I was into. I dug it a lot. This one had the potential to be something really good. And again, like we have the original writers coming back, and I feel like William Kane is his name.
Okay.
Who directed that first one. If he came back for this one, it might have been better. The problem is, like, you have really cool concepts. Again, I love the fact that fucking Blacula comes back via voodoo.
Fucking voodoo magic, man.
And he's just like a skeleton in a bag. You know what I mean? I think that shit's fucking cool. And there's so much to explore with that. And we dick around with these other tertiary fucking characters that I do not care about for way too long. And again, I think they could have scaled. They didn't need to get the cops involved either, in my opinion. I think they could have
said the cult after him, honestly.
That's what I'm saying. They could have done it that way, where it's like a family affair kind of thing, where maybe Willis gets all pissed, he leaves, and Blacula kills his ass dead, and they find him, and then the voodoo cult or Pam Grier gets revenge. Wants to get revenge on Blacula, and then they're at odds, and then realize, I don't know, maybe something like that could work. Or, but I do like the idea of her helping him via voodoo.
Yeah.
And curing the curse and stuff like that. I just don't think it's pulled off very well. I would have liked to seen more voodoo stuff, or have them go at odds. I mean, he's brute force, but like, it would have been nice to see them work together a little bit more too. Kind of like, because he's so interested in the voodoo.
Yeah.
If she like showed him some teachings, or they did something else, I don't know. Pam Grier could have been a little bit more on the offense here, rather than cowering all the time. And again, I get it. That's the character. It's just, it's unbecoming of Pam, in my opinion, as an actress or a star of this movie, or any movie, right? It's forgettable. It's just, there's a lot of shit in this movie I just don't care about. And it's very much like, okay, can we get to the fucking thing already, please? We're bouncing back and forth with this house, and like people I don't give a fuck about, and Willis making empty fucking threats to everybody. And it's just like, just shut up. Like, you don't need any more screen time. You know what I mean? And you need to up the kills. Like, I also don't need to see other people killing other people with no with no emotional connection to it. Like when Mamuwalde kills Gloria and the people in the beginning, I think it's done like super well. But other than that, everything is, the body count's there just to up the body count, and who could give a fuck? And Justin's character's weird. I don't know. I'm not really into it at all. Anyway, Dumpster, everything is knocked down a peg for this. The cinematography, the lighting, everything is just not on par where it needs to be for something like this. And it's unfortunate because, again, there's a lot of cool shit that could have been explored in this movie. It's just not. And that ending is fucking dog shit. And I think like that's the last thing. The ending is the last thing that you walk away with, right? From a film.
Oh yeah.
And like, it's so fucking bad and unimpactful and uneventful. It's like, that's it.
I mean,
fuck this movie.
Yeah. And it's that thing too, like we've talked about this many times on the show where it's a thing like a movie could have a certain rating in your head or however you look at movies. And then like something happens, especially if it's an ending plot point that just tanks the whole movie for you. Haunted Wing comes to mind.
I like Haunted Wing.
I know, but for me, not so much.
Yeah, but that's not trying to do any, like it.
Bad example.
It's a bad example for this reason.
Okay, better example. Valentine. Stay tuned later this month for more on Valentine.
Okay, I'll agree with you on there.
Okay.
But like, that's another thing. Like, this is an opportunity to explore more of William Marshall's range and the character, and that's what makes the first one so good because we grow with him.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I agree.
And this we don't really grow with him. He's just like, I'm Blacula. I need to get better. Bye.
Yeah, his character arc is definitely more interesting in that first movie. This one, you're right. He is just kind of like going... He has an agenda, but he never really goes beyond that.
It's by proxy. Because, like, he's like, fuck, I didn't ask to be reborn, and here I am.
Yeah.
You know? Instead of, like... I mean, he does try to make amends with being a vampire, kind of, but, like, it's so in the background, like, it gets lost big time.
And it's also, like, another thing that I forgot to mention that I didn't like is how it's, like... And that's why I thought it was going to go in a certain direction that doesn't. You know, his wife is such a key element of that first movie, again, like many other Dracula films. And it's, like, it's just... Other than that throwaway line about the necklace, he doesn't, like, care that his wife's gone at all. He's more concerned about, well... Get this demon out of me. Even if you just add a line of dialogue. Get this demon out of me so I can rest with my wife. Just something.
I'll do you one better. He sees those necklaces and he's like, oh, I need mine. And then I'll give mine to Pam Grier and she'll be my new wife. Or whatever.
Right, yeah, or something in that vein.
But live a normal life because it'll be like, you know, take the darkness out of me or whatever, and then we can be together and move to Africa or something.
Yeah.
Because he wants to go back to the Ebony tribe, and he's like, do you know, fuck, that was in 1755, and he's like, yeah, I'll just go back, and they'll welcome me with open arms. They're gonna be like, who the fuck are you?
Who? Mama who?
Mama what? Mama pajama? Anyway, so yeah.
That's Blacula.
Scream Blacula Scream, excuse me.
Oh, yeah. Don't want to mess it up again. Sorry,
us.
Mr. Lobo, if you're watching.
So yeah, you know, thanks for joining us on our first video foray, fully for a full episode. Thanks for coming and hanging out. If you're in the premiere, and if you're not and you're catching it later, thanks for listening and watching.
Yes.
And don't forget, you know, hit that fucking like button real quick. It's right there. You're watching it anyway. Hit that fucking like button. Subscribe to the channel and share it, please. We want to get the word out to more dumpster dwellers. And if you're listening to this on your favorite podcast app, wherever you get your podcasts, you know, hit that fucking 5-star on Spotify. Spotify's got that new rating system.
Yes.
Hit that 5-star on there. If you're on Apple Podcasts, hit the fucking 5-star and a review. That would be amazing. It really helps us you know, reach more people big time. And you guys have been doing amazing at sharing the show and supporting us. So let's keep that train rolling, right?
We got to get out of the dumpster, like I always say, and into more eardrums.
There you go.
And like Joe said, you know, like, subscribe, you know, if you're watching this video.
That's a new weird thing that we're going to have to say.
Yeah, I know. Again, we know there's a lot of you on Instagram.
Yeah.
I know most of you don't listen, but if you could just, you know, come on over. Hit the little button. We really appreciate it. Then you know when the new episodes come out, too.
Oh yeah, and you'll get the updates. You'll know when the new episodes come out, when the premieres are happening, all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of cool stuff happening, and we're looking forward to going on this journey with you guys, gals, and everything in between. And don't forget to visit moviedumpsterpodcast.com. We got a merch store. We got a Patreon that we talked about.
Wearing right now.
Look at this
video version.
Look at this shit.
It's a vampire shirt. It was a Son of Dracula we did last year.
We covered Son of Dracula last year, and there was an LP. Well, you can go listen to that episode, but there was an LP version of the soundtrack, and inside came a iron-on transfer. So I actually had it, and I did a high-res scan of it, cleaned up a little bit, and we put out the Bite It shirt from Son of Dracula with Harry Nilsson and fucking Ringo Starr.
Yeah, Ringo as Merlin. Just look it up.
It's great.
And then what else we got coming out this month? We got that I just mentioned it, but Valentine. We're having a book to the movie.
Oh yeah, CB Smith's coming on, and we're doing book to the movie. That'll be available to everybody to watch. That'll also be a video.
Our Valentine special.
Yeah, it's our Valentine's
St.
Day
Valentine's.
special. Yeah.
We also, just to kind of go off of the Blacula kind of riff, Blackenstein.
Oh yeah, over on Patreon we're doing that watch along for Blackenstein. Go sign up, $5 or $10 tiers, and again it's a live watch along, so we'll be with you, talking to you. We'll have the chat open, and we'll be laughing and having a good time, having some beers and watching Blackenstein. It's gonna be a good time.
And I think up next, our next episode after that book to the movie drops is I guess our other Valentine special.
Oh yeah,
do for this year.
Oh yeah, we're doing a lot of lovey-dovey stuff this month on top of doing some Black History stuff. So it's a nice little mix of everything, and then at the end you get a little fucking Texas chainsaw, baby.
So get ready for My Demon Lover.
Oh yeah, I'm really excited, very excited for My Demon Lover. So we'll catch you on that next episode, and yeah. So that's it. That's Scream, Blacula Scream from 1973, directed by Bob Keljan. I'm Joe Lascola.
And I'm Sean O'Rourke.
Thanks for visiting the dumpster.